Hello friends, how are you? I want to welcome you to this video, which I believe will surprise you, in the same way once surprised researchers and historians and made us see history from a completely new perspective. Thank you so much for being here. What I'm about to share is not just information, it's a special invitation. An invitation to embark on a deep journey, filled with meaning, beauty, and transformation. A call to look beyond time and realize that the quest we now undertake with the help of psychedelics was already alive in the hearts of the ancients. Just imagine for a moment that we're not beginning a video, but walking together on an ancient path. A path that leads through temples, bonfires, deserts, desires, and pain, and that today feels very much like what happens in a therapy room, a space where someone, eyes closed and heart open, dares to look within with the help of the same sacred substances. The Eleusinian mysteries were the spiritual heart of the ancient world and gave birth to the culture of the West. From 1600 BCE and for 2,000 years, thousands and thousands of people, from humble peasants to powerful emperors, fasted and walked from Athens to Eleusis, seeking a profound, almost indescribable experience. It was an initiatory process. There was no dogma or religion, it was pure experience. And that's why it still matters to us today, because it's experience that truly transforms us. These sacred rituals, wrapped in silence and secrecy, point to something our modern culture is starting to remember. That healing is not just about removing symptoms. Healing is about finding meaning. Healing is about remembering who we are. And while philosophy was blooming in Greece, other mysteries were also being celebrated in India, Egypt, China, and the Americas. The human soul across the planet was following the same inner voice, the one that whispers there is something beyond suffering and beyond the visible. So today, we reconnect with these ancient memories, and with humility, we bring that wisdom into the present. Listen to the words of some of the great minds who were initiated into these mysteries, people who helped shape the foundations of our civilization through democracy, philosophy, science, politics, art, and law. Plato said, "To die without having been initiated into the mysteries is to live a meaningless life." Cicero wrote, "Nothing more exalted has ever been given to us than these mysteries." Socrates said, "Through the mysteries we become better." Aristotle added, "We do not learn with the intellect unless we have lived through the experience." And Marcus Aurelius said, "Seek what is eternal within yourself." And finally, the famous words from the Oracle of Delphi, "Know yourself, and you will know the universe." At the heart of these rites was the kykeon, a sacred drink made of fermented barley, herbs, and, according to many scholars, ergot, a fungus known to induce deep visions. Sounds familiar? Yes, many believe that kykeon was the spiritual ancestor of LSD. And even though academic debate continues, the symbolic connection is powerful. A sacred substance taken in ceremony, opening the doors of perception. Today, many people arrive at psychedelic therapy sessions with the help of magic mushrooms, San Pedro cactus, or ayahuasca, with a similar intention: to remember something essential, to release what no longer serves, and to be reborn into a new way of living. And this is where the ancient bridge appears. Because between the telesterion of Eleusis and a modern therapy room, where someone lies with eyes covered and a therapist nearby, there is a soul connection. Both settings follow the same pattern, the initiatory journey. And so the real journey begins. First we feel the calling, an existential void, a crisis, an inner unrest that no achievement or social media like can silence. It is the voice of the soul asking for space. Then comes the preparation. You cannot approach the mystery in a rush. At Eleusis, people fasted and kept silence under the guidance of experienced priestesses. Today, too, we need to fast, both from food and from distractions. We need stillness, clear intention, loving support, and a safe container, a guide who knows when to speak and when to simply hold silence. And then we reach the threshold. That moment when we cross into the unknown. There is no turning back. The map is useless now. We begin to feel. And this is where the deep journey starts. The inner voyage is not always full of light. Often the first thing we meet is the shadow. The Eleusinian rites spoke of a descent into the underworld, a symbolic journey into our own inner pain. In a well-held psychedelic session, this can take many forms. We meet emotions we've hidden, memories we've suppressed, parts of ourselves we've rejected. And yes, it can be scary, but it can also be deeply liberating, because the descent is not punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to meet what needs love, not judgment. Sometimes the only thing needed is to stop fighting, to breathe, and let what comes come. And in that surrender, something opens. Then comes the revelation. It might be an image, a sense of unity, a long-awaited forgiveness, or a simple truth, clear and delicate, like a flower opening. It's not always dramatic, but it's always transformative, not because we found something new, but because we remembered something we had forgotten. And with that revelation in our heart, the return begins. Coming back to everyday life after an experience like this can feel strange. Everything looks the same. The streets, the job, the family, but you are no longer the same. A part of you has awakened, and now it wants to live differently, with more awareness, more coherence, more heart. And here we arrive at one of the most important and most overlooked parts of the journey: integration. The experience doesn't end when the effects wear off. That's when the true alchemy begins. To integrate means to turn what you lived into concrete action, like changing the way you speak to yourself, choosing more nourishing relationships, or finally stopping the endless postponement of your life and starting to enjoy it. And that takes support, spaces of care, therapy, community, because integration is not just understanding, it's embodying. Sometimes the mind says, I get it now, but the body still holds fear. That's when somatic work comes in, rituals, daily practice, and presence. And when that begins to settle in, we arrive at the moment of legacy. What will you do now with what you've seen? How will you walk through the world after passing through the mystery? In Eleusis, initiates didn't walk out saying, that was amazing. They walked out transformed. They were different. And you could see it in the way they lived, loved, and showed up in the world. Today, that responsibility is also ours. Profound experiences are not enough. The true initiate doesn't stay stuck in the memory. They share their light in their family, their work, and their community. And in that way, the mystery lives on. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you've made it this far, it's because something in you is seeking more depth, more truth, more connection. The mysteries of Eleusis are not just an archaeological memory, they are a living vibration, a possibility that still pulses within us. And if you feel the call to explore these paths, with guidance, care, and love, we're here to answer your questions. Write to us with confidence. We'd love to hear from you, support you, and help you find your own rhythm and your own medicine. Our number is +1 530 713 7213. I send you a warm embrace, and may the mystery walk with you.